defines what's beautiful? Beautiful. Who defines what's beautiful?
The Parents Television Council is pleased to be joined today by Nicole Clark, who is the producer and director of a documentary entitled CoverGirl Culture. And Nicole, welcome to the PTC headquarters here in Los Angeles. And first, let me start by saying, how did you get into the fashion industry?
I started out actually in university in biosci with the goals to become a veterinarian or go into kinesiology. And during the my first year or second year there, I had the chance to go into a modeling contest with a friend to support her. And it turned out that I ended up winning this contest, and then had agents calling me from Toronto, and I just said no, I just did this for my friend and I'm interested in staying in school. And a summer job opportunity came along, and I thought, oh, am I going to do the slog of, working these incredible hours to pay for school, or do the modeling for a little bit? So I attempted to start for the summer with modeling, and the instant I started, I was flown to New York, and I started a career with Elite for 4 years, modeling around the globe. And yeah, I sort of went kicking and screaming into the industry because I was a tomgirl and I was not into fashion, and I was sort of the odd candidate for the industry. I had the appearance of it, but my insides were completely, not aligned with what the fashion world was about. And then years down the road, when I was doing the children's books and working with writing film and writing short stories, I met a man who does documentaries. And he heard about my background, and I had always kept it pretty secret because I was sort of embarrassed that I had modeled, because it seemed like it was sort of a waste of my life and hadn't really benefited anyone. And he said, you should really think about doing a documentary. I think you can do a lot of good with the insight and the knowledge that you have, and with the fact that you were a model, you'll have credibility, people will listen to you. And I resisted, and I said, no, I'm not interested in going back into that world. I made it out, I'm fine, that world can exist over there. And he just kept prodding and saying, think about it. And we'd have meetings about his projects, and it would turn into my project. And as soon as I said, okay, I'll consider it, I'll think about it, I'll start writing, all these doors started opening, and I started getting interviews with people, and someone would think of me and connect me to someone else. And so the film just sort of created the opportunity for me to make it.
What is CoverGirl culture?
CoverGirl culture is about the influence the media has on our girls in society today, and the pressures that are upon them now to be sexy and skinny and focus on being this image, this exterior, versus developing your sense of self and your sense of humor and your intellect, and learning about the values that are true and will last your lifetime, versus this exterior shell that is very fleeting and isn't attached to who you are. The film also exposes the sexualization of girls in the media, especially young children, the messages that they're getting through the media now that exists is a lot more invasive and a lot more inundating than it was when I was a young girl. We just had a television, that's all that was there. And now there's internet and cell phones and video games and TV and movies and music. Singers are also a big part of the media influence on girls today.
What are the messages that girls are getting today?
Primarily the messages girls are getting today is that to be successful, you get to be thin, pretty, sexy, and misbehave. Very seldom is a girl ever upheld in our society for being smart or caring or considerate, because that's not newsworthy in society, sadly.
As you point out, there are so many powerful economic forces at work in the entertainment and fashion industry. How do you deal with that?
In CoverGirl culture, one of the things I focus on are the advertisers and their agendas that are out there. And a lot of adults, when they hear the message in the film, they think, oh gosh, am I going to have to turn the TV off, and am I going to have to just unplug everything and become sort of a Nazi of the media? And you really can't do that, because it's part of our culture now and it's here to stay. And it is a useful tool. It can inspire and it can educate, and it also can entertain us. And at the same time, it's also been abused to distract and delude and isolate us. And so what parents really can do is start at a young age with their children to educate them when they're ready to develop critical thinking, is to educate them about the agenda of advertisers and do a little media literacy or media awareness with them.
One question raised in CoverGirl culture is, who is ultimately responsible for the sexual imagery being targeted at young girls in the fashion industry and in the media?
I think who is responsible for the sexualization of girls that is in the media, I think there's several parts to that answer. Number one, yes, the media plays a huge role because they're the ones putting it out there, and they're not receiving letters from parents saying, please send us images of our girls sexed up so that we can dress them so that pedophiles will notice them. That's not happening. So somebody has started the ball rolling, and I think it's more of just pushing the envelope. It's shock and awe, shock and awe. Instead of having moral values in our society, we're all about having shock values, because a lot of times advertisers and the media will say, oh, we're just giving them what they want. But, you know, if I was having my way when I was a kid, I'd have chocolate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And my mom, there's no way she would have given me what I wanted, because that wasn't healthy for me.
Do you think the industry is giving people what they want?
No. No. A good friend of ours talks about that, and how the industry realizes that in order to manipulate and sell products, one way that they've done it that's been successful is to manipulate our minds and our fear centers in our brain and create these wants, so that in order to be happy and successful like this person in this commercial, you get to have this. So they're creating wants for us to fill instead of truly showing us what's valuable in a person and valuable to our happiness in life. So the advertisers are not giving us what they want, they're giving us what they want us to believe will bring us happiness through whatever manipulations. And an interesting research study that I heard was going on at UCLA. They're using fMRIs, it's sort of a brain mapping and analyzing system, where they bring in their subjects and they show their new advertisements. And they can monitor exactly what centers, emotional centers in the brain are firing when they watch the ad. So the advertisers can go, oh, no, we haven't hit enough of the fear center in the brain, or we haven't hit enough of the pleasure center in the brain. And they're actually using, you know, students are volunteering and going in to do this. I choose to know if children are, but it's really manipulative on that level. And so when advertisers or young people, I think more so when young people tell me, oh, advertisements don't affect me. No, not at all. And I have to point out that there's a reason why they're spending millions and millions of dollars creating these ads, because they work, because they know how to program. And even television programs, they're programs, because they program you to a way of thinking about life and how reality should be.
What can parents do to make a difference?
It takes people speaking up, parents writing in, having responsibility. I've seen people buying sexy clothes for their children. This is when the sexualization of girls becomes the parents' responsibility.
What is your hope for this project?
My hopes would be for young girls to Thank you. So it's really sad when I see young girls aspiring to be this way, and then having to know it's not their fault, because they're just stuck in this myriad of messages and bombardment. And how cool and how exciting to know that there's people out there who care, like the Parents Television Council and many other organizations that are promoting responsible advertising and responsible shows to parents and to the viewers, but just to give girls the message that there's another way to be female, and it has nothing to do with your appearance. More about our innards and our intellect and our sense of self and being noble and heroic in our lives, versus just this exterior, flimsy, valueless image that we're seeing on the outside, because society has put so much attention on that image. And it's time for the tables to turn. So for cover girl culture to inspire mothers and young women to take the charge to go for their true dreams and follow their heart's desires, and put aside what the agenda of the media is, and to see through it and see through the illusion.
Who is your target audience? Who defines what's beautiful? Beautiful. Who defines what's beautiful?